government so far is the least embarrassing, lacking deep thought, lacking strategy, taking the eyes off the main issues that are being spoken about. Well, let's see what the papers have.
We'll go on a break, on a short one. So when we return from that break, we need to hear some messages from our sponsors, MTN Nigeria. When we're through, we will be back in here to start looking at the papers for you today. Stay here on Dailies Today, Nigeria Info. We are back in a moment.
Hey, wake up, oh! Another better don't land. For those of now, whenever you see MTN SIM for over 15 days now, MTN they do win back package. Will be presidential welcome pack of 6 times your recharge when you load 50 naira and above. Yes, oh, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not even 5. Now 6 times your recharge. Them go give you for credit and data. Your eyes don't clear, B. This one means say if you recharge 100 naira, MTN go summon you with 600 naira credit plus free 100 MB data. If you go recharge 200 naira, now 1,200 naira credit go drop for your phone plus free 200 MB data. Just make sure say you use *161* recharge pin hash, take recharge and enjoy your bonus for up to 30 days. Now this kind presidential welcome back I dey like. Make I go find my own MTN SIM, begin enjoy better.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Wetin dey happen, my people? My name is Justin, and I may be the best stylist for this city. See, I sabi afro, 1 million braids, mohawk, and dreads. Even if you want me your hair smooth like egg, I sabi that one sef. I play with me, my customers don't use me play. They love me die because once they show, they don't need to talk anything. Me could just run the matter because I sabi wetin they want. Wetin they work for one customer different from wetin they work for another customer. But see, I dey give them correct treatment as per stylist wey sabi them.
Original data and credit are wolf wey sabi you like the back of your hand. Plus including other correct yafu every day. Turn am more on top MTN for me. Open your phone.
Oh, yeah, so we're back. Many thanks to our sponsors, MTN Nigeria. We're back now on the show. You can watch us live on Twitter. No, not Twitter. On Facebook and YouTube. But you can track the conversation on Twitter. Twitter is at Nigeria Info FM on Twitter. Hashtag Nigeria Info MCF. You can copy at Jimi Disu as well. Jimi is with one M-O and I at the end. Jimi. Then Disu, because I was saying Jimi.
No, not Jimmy. It's for La Jimmy now, so it's just the shortened part of it. Yeah.
Right.
I know they've been both name, I bet.
Okay, so you can watch us live on Facebook and YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. So let's get on with it. We'll start this morning with the Vanguard newspaper. New twist as hashtag end SARS protesters reject SWAT. That's the story. It's a very lengthy one.
Yes, of course they should reject SWAT. I mean, does the government think they're dealing with kindergarten children? You said you scrapped SARS and now you have SWAT. That's just a change of name. Like somebody said in the newsroom just now, that's a naming ceremony. Look, there are some symbolic things that the government should have done. You can see that the government's reaction is knee-jerk. What the government should have done first symbolic thing you would have done was to retire the whole hierarchy of the Nigeria police. And set up a 3-man.
That would have sent a very strong message.
Very strong message. You're not indicting them.
Right.
You're just saying that we need to take a new step forward. Then you have a 3-man team, not necessarily headed by a police or retired policeman, to run the affairs and put in reforms immediately. Imagine how people would have reacted to that in the first instance.
Right.
You could have scrapped the so-called SARS and scrapped it indefinitely, retire the top hierarchy of the police, set up a 3-man, set up a panel to start the reforms, and then a 3-man panel to run the police, headed by not necessarily a police. If you had done actions like that, people would have been pacified. But this is the most infantile reaction I've seen. But what I found most embarrassing is the video making the rounds, in which you now saw the governor of Lagos briefing the president on what we are going to do. And I was saying to myself, who should be saying what to who? Okay, there is a lack of capacity at the top. There is a lack. We need to tell ourselves.
But isn't this
some home truth.
this what we have been clamoring for? Like states should take over the affairs of security in total.
When the man was briefing about state, he wasn't talking about state police. He was talking about federal, that we have decided. He was telling the president we are going to have governors forum meeting and so on and so forth. He was telling the president what the president should have told him. But let's leave that. I don't want to come in between the two members. Of course, the protesters should reject SWAT.
Right.
Reject. The protesters themselves now need to be more focused in their demands. Okay, I call on them now. Your demands you need to be focused and well stated. Okay. Secondly, you now need to change tactics. I keep saying, Nigeria is a peculiar country.
Right.
In the Arab Spring, these protests went on in the same direction for so long. The same might not apply in Nigeria, and you can now see where in Abuja thugs were sent to disrupt the rallies. You could have more of that.
Right.
Don't forget that the politicians need to protect themselves. So our young people should be ready. They're going to try to infiltrate them. They're going to try to harass them.
What do you mean protect themselves? I'm still trying to process that.
The status quo. The politicians don't want the status quo to change. Part of what is, do you know what, if you, social media, they say SARS, it says something, there's SARS, there's an acronym, and now talks about how it is time even for the National Assembly to take a second look at the kind of money they take home. This SARS thing, it's not a police matter only. It's a function of reforms. But even in the police matter, the government could have made, I repeat, some symbolic moves. Retire the police hierarchy. Okay?
Right.
Set up a 3-man, and then let's see some action. The president, the president is always reluctant to talk. He should have gotten
He's always reluctant,
Oshibajo to head some kind of, just like you did in the area of what's it called now, the COVID. You get Oshibajo to head one, and he is the one who will be briefing people every day, talking here and negotiating and doing all kinds of things. But even Oshibajo, who is the most learned at the hierarchy of government, has gone slightly quiet.
Right. So how should the protesters approach this going forward, going by what happened in Lagos and in Abuja yesterday?
The protesters should be resolute. They should go back to the drawing board. They should be a step ahead of government in all this. They should be very clear-minded what they want. And they should make their demands in a very clear manner.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they are not disposed to wanting to have leaders negotiate. But at some point, that might have to happen. You can't negotiate with the crowd. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Okay.
So that might have to happen. How they're going to do that, I honestly don't know. But I can understand what the problem is. But they need to keep at it. Yes, there's no point starting something that you can't finish. They need to keep at it in a non-violent manner, okay? But they need to be a step ahead of the authorities. And they have the intellectual capacity to... The most of the people I've seen, in the social media, most of the young people I've seen are 10 times more intelligent than those in government reacting to... There's a lack of intellectual capacity in government. I say that at all levels. There is a lack of capacity. I can say that anytime. It's my opinion. If you look at what the protesters are saying,
right?
I have tomorrow, for example, I have 3 young chaps in their 20s. They're going to be in this station at 9 o'clock. You need to hear them speak. And then you need to hear. Look at the government. Look at that infantile reaction. Oh, we have scrap SARS and we now have SWAT. Come on. No deep thought, nothing. Come on. And then you think that the fact that you say that SARS, no member of SARS, will be
allowed to join.
The funny thing is that the issue with SARS is with all the police. It's only that when you are posted to SARS, you're allowed now to put on the garb of a masquerade and behave any way you like. They're all policemen.
Yes, they are.
They're all policemen.
Yes, they are.
It's only when you are SARS, it's like you've been given a license. So this idea of telling us SARS, we know that you have to handle crime. We know that. But you have to find an ingenious way of doing this. And that I think is missing. But it's up to, I think that I always say, Sheriff, I've assumed that sometimes things that start innocently can build up a life of their own.
Right.
And it will be out of everybody's hands. Do you understand what I'm
Yes,
saying?
I do.
It will be out of everybody. Who started the Arab Spring and see where it ended? Nigerians should brace up for hard times ahead, though. This thing won't go away.
So here is the fear of some people. This protest has started. It has developed a life of its own already because the protest has transcended the bounds of Nigeria into other continents, not just countries, other continents as well. Recession is coming very quickly, which means that the times will get even harder for people. The likelihood of these snowballing into something ugly is very high compared to the likelihood of things being maintained this same way. What should be the appropriate strategy or in preparation, especially on the on the part of the protesters in preparing for the times ahead? What should they be looking at? You've always said that there needs to be very tactical, that sometimes you don't need to hit the street. There are things that you can do to make sure that governments hear you and force them to hear you.
Yes.
Because sometimes these things can be taken over by,
Well, I got a reaction from some funny professor in the US who said that how can you protest without hitting the streets? And I said that sometimes staying at home itself is a protest.
Oh, yes.
So we need to have a clearer mind and be extremely strategic. Don't forget that this thing concerns everybody. It's not just the youth. You and I we're going through a lot of hard times in this country that could jolly well be avoided.
Very well.
We need to be strategic. The government itself, or let me say the politicians, had better start making some symbolic sacrifices so that we will be in a position to sit and talk to them when that time comes. If they continue along this
that time is coming.
Look at the governor when you talk about intellectual capacity, look at Okowa, a governor, a chief executive of a state. Your young people, they're demonstrating whatever. You go there with some million cash and give them for refreshment.
Oh well, they
what I'm upset about is, in all honesty, I'm sorry to say this. Even as a full adult and so on and so forth, I'd have been happier. It would have been wrong if they had thrown that money in his face. It was a complete insult to the young people of this country. So you think that everybody can be bought with money? Politicians are going to be in for a surprise in 2023 if they think that these young people will not let that happen. It was a complete insult. But for the fact that he had immunity, it would have been good if they threw it in his face. Not necessarily at his body, but if they threw it in his face, took it and tore it up and gave it to him and drove him out of the place. We have had enough of. You can see, Sheriff, it is the lack of thinking at the political level that has gotten us to where it is, and it's not going to get us anywhere. My fear, and I have Captain Blade coming at 9 o'clock. He's an ex-military officer.
Fantastic.
My fear is that there is something at the pit of my stomach,
right,
that makes me fear that I hope history does not repeat itself in this country. That is the safest way I can put it without getting into trouble. Okay. I hope history. So I leave that is open to all kinds of interpretation. Because guess what?
What?
Even your policemen feel this thing we are talking about. Even your soldiers feel it. If you hear the tales of woe from the military, it's not confined to these young people. They are the leaders. It's not confined to them. Even members of the armed forces. I've been to security units in this country before. I see what happens where you find that in a security unit is the personnel there or some of the inmates that have to provide funds to run that capacity, that facility. It's not El Dorado. Even the DSS. Let's call a spade a spade. It's not El Dorado for them. They go through the same thing.
So it's just everywhere.
That is why I am saying that I fear from the pit of my stomach. The government needs to be absolutely careful. Absolutely.
What do you think could be responsible for the foot dragging of the government in responding to some of these issues?
Because
it's almost like they are just picking up the broomstick one after the other instead of just picking up the broom itself.
But Sheriff, let's play back what I said. There's a lack of capacity.
Oh.
There's a lack of capacity.
Or is it
The
that
leadership-
or the lack of will to do it?
There is, it's not a lack, the capacity is for, you see, if you have the capacity, you manage the will. If you are intelligent enough to know what to do, you will find it. Just like I said, imagine if you had highly intellectual president or whatever faced with that. The first thing it will do symbolically is to get rid of the police hierarchy. That is enough to cool nerves and say, look, we need a new way forward. Gentlemen, I'm not sacking you. You need to retire. We need a new thinking. And it starts from here. Set up a 3-man. It's not rocket science. But the first thing that we did was that the president gave he gave the IG directives to reform the police. When the IG, not personal to him, is also part of the problem, because you need a new thinking in policing.
Let me throw this in. It's from the Vanguard newspaper. Senior civil servants demand holistic police reform. It comes with a rider. List expectations of Nigerians from new police. Do we have a new police? Or attempted new police? Or planned new police?
You know what I did when I marked this story was to just immediately react to the headline.
Yeah.
If senior civil servants are now saying demanding holistic police reform, don't you know it's not too far away when they will demand reforms in the ways in which they are treated? So what you are likely to have, if care is not taken, is that they might be sympathetic towards the cause. Indeed, they are. So what does that tell you? That's what I'm saying. That what I do feel could happen from the pit of my stomach is unimaginable, and I cannot even say it on air or even say it privately. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
But I am sure that those who are deep thinkers and can think very well, they will know the times ahead are going to be extremely challenging. I wasn't a total kid in '66. In 1966, I think I was about 10 or 11. Days of wait here and so on and so forth. Military coups and so on and so forth. I was not a total kid. As a young boy of about 7, 8, I started reading the Daily Times cover to cover. So I have a bit of a sense of what we are talking about here. We all need to be extremely careful. We all need to be extremely careful.
Indeed. Let's go to this other headline. Page 18 from the Vanguard newspaper. Loretta Onoche unfit as INEC commissioner. It's an interesting piece.
Well, this is an interesting piece written by the Vanguard. And let me take away my comments on the person of Loretta Onoche and what I think is her mental capacity and capability to do the job. I leave that is neither here nor there. There's a lot of that making the rounds. I still believe, and I'm glad that the Vanguard wrote an editorial, that Loretta Onoche she's not, well, I don't want to use the word unfit. I don't want to face any libel, whatever, and I'm not interested. There are too many things on our minds, but it is very clear that the president took a wrong decision. You cannot, under any decent disposition, present your own person as an INEC commissioner. It stands without reason. It's glaring. This person was your appointee and is very, very likely, at the very least, to be sympathetic to whatever she believes she wants you to. So I don't believe, and I'm surprised that Buhari did this. It's quite unlike him.
It's quite unlike him?
It's quite unlike him.
Okay.
I thought that this was a very fair man, and he, it's quite. If you've listened to some of the things that he said in the past, you'll be asking yourself, where did this come from? Don't tell me that you think that he forgot that the woman is.
No, I'm just. No, I'm not going to say.
I see that smile on your face. Are you going?
I'm not going to say that. I was going to say that perhaps Baba did not even know anything about this.
Well, he always claims that I didn't know this and I didn't know that, but now that he knows, Oshibajo should walk into his office and tell him.
I mean, it's his government after all.
It's his government after all. But I think, look, going forward in 2023, in all honesty, Nigeria is going to be needing a much younger leader.
Is that really this? I hear that argument all the time.
No, it is part of we need an exposed leader. Don't let's call a spade a farming implement.
An exposed leader, yeah.
We need an exposed.
Must he be young or old?
We need
Should
an
that be a
exposed. Age sometimes. Look, there is a limit at 65, Sheriff. There's a limit to what I can do. Did I not have to relocate thanks to the Lagos State government? I'm going to send them the bill. Did I not have to relocate from where I am so that I'll stop waking up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning for me to get to do this program? I'm going to send Sanwo-Olu a bill, and he must pay it.
He must pay it, Abi.
He has made my life extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. But that's not the issue. At 65, I know that there are certain things I cannot do. I cannot be a good governor at 65. I don't know how Aketi does it. He's my classmate. I don't know where he gets the energy. But we keep deceiving ourselves. Don't forget that governance in Nigeria is hands-on.
Yeah.
It's not like in some countries.
You just have to be hands-on.
Don't come and tell me.
There's no shortcut to it.
Look at the way the institutions stand up to Trump in America.
Right.
Everything is on autopilot. It's not the same here. To bless the soul of my former classmate and lawyer who passed away recently, Taufik Elias. Taufik Elias will say in a court case, you don't know the mind of the judge. That's the way we also think here. You don't know the mind of the president. So rather than do what is right, you want to do what the president wants. That's why you need somebody who can run a country hands-on. Look at what happened when Oshibajo took over for just a few whatever. You can see the kind of thinking.
Everybody felt it. Yeah.
Everybody felt it.
Everybody felt it.
So why are we running away from the truth? Someone I see that Atiku is revving his machinery. Tinubu wants to go. We were tired of these people, and I hope the young people at that time will not be taking selfies and taking money and be youth assistant to these people. As this has happened, it's time for them now to also focus on who, or at least who will not. Who will not. It would be a very, very sad story for Nigeria if in 2023 any of these over 70 or even 60, over 60, any one of them, because it means we'll be taking a few other steps backwards.
The question is, are the youths, do they have any belief or trust in themselves? Because in the last elections, we had young people, brilliant minds that everybody actually knows.
The brilliant minds were not
and
ready.
Nobody voted for them.
The brilliant, look, we will soon know that what the youth have started, I said yesterday on phone, I hope it came out clear, loud and clear, that what you have now is not going to be an event. It's going to be a marathon. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a marathon. The only thing that thrills me in all this, Sheriff, is the clear-mindedness of the youth as to what they want. Maybe they don't know how to achieve it, but as to what they want, they are very clear. Look, they brought food after every demonstration or whatever. They clean up the place. Yeah, these little symbolic things. So
I saw that too, and that really blew me away.
Trust me, they serve themselves food. There's been very little or no violence.
Very organized.
Very organized.
The cleaners are there. They pick up all these things and throw them in the trash bags.
It moved me to. They went with their babies symbolically. There's a new Nigeria coming. There is a new Nigeria coming, and it's a tornado. Anybody who stands in the way of that tornado, Abaloni. Sorry, how do I translate
that? Lagos, you know what, Jimmy? Let's take some reactions. I mean, we have loads of them on YouTube here. Ladi Milan says, okay, they are having their own conversation here, so I'm just going to skip to those that are here. Let's see. I think they're having their conversation, so I'm going to skip to Facebook and get some thought in on Facebook. This person says, that's Lawal Latifat says, thank you so much. Please help us to tell them to give us good roads, health facilities, and good education. That's Latifat. Wale Oni says, police reform is inevitable, visible to the blind. Mr. President, are you not comfortable? Okay, that has disappeared. You know what we're going to do right now? We need to... okay, let's take one more headline. Just one more because of time. And then we'll wrap off. There is this caption here. It's a photo on the front page of the Nation newspaper. All Progressives Congress APC national leader Shiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is seated there right in front, at the right or something.
Yes. You know, there's a rumor when this Alpha Beta whatever came up, there's a rumor that he was out of town. You know, whether convenient or not, I don't know what it is. But this picture shows that Shiwaju Bola Tinubu is very much in town. As at yesterday, he was in Lagos, and he was at a meeting with the British High Commissioner to Nigeria,
Right.
Katrina Lang, yesterday, and another official. He was in a meeting with them. So for the rumor peddlers, Asiwaju Tinubu is very much in Lagos.
Very much around.
Very much in Nigeria. In fact, as yesterday, he was with the High Commissioner in this. So I wanted to use this to announce and quell the rumor. Baba Osalo is here.
Okay, Jimmy.
He's here.
What's coming up at 9 today?
This is what the late
This
fella
is it.
Olakpoku used to call pansa. My guest today is very popular. Everybody knows him. Aliu Blade,
Okay.
that retired army, whatever.
Okay.
We look at the issue of security. It's the beginning of a phase of things that's going to happen. Blade will be here today. I have 3 20-something year olds tomorrow.
Right.
Then we continue next week. And we'll be taking views of people, elderly people, young people. It's a movement we have to be part of.
Yeah, it's a movement. It's a movement. It's a global movement.
The government shouldn't see it as a rebellion. Rather, they should see it as reforms that have been initiated by the youth.
The push that they much need. I mean, it's
Yes, and that is what the country wants. The country belongs to all of us. It doesn't belong to government.
right.
It doesn't belong to the politicians.
Right.
And it is important that the politicians know that just like Jesus sacrificed his life for the betterment of man, and this according to the Christians, they too would have to sacrifice heavily for the progress and survival of this country. Or else all of us will go down.
Let's not go down, Jimmy.
All of us will go down.
Let's not go down, Joe. Lagos, join Jimmy at 9 o'clock for Daily Digest for today, and the conversation continues then. In the meantime, let's go to break. Many thanks to our sponsors, MTN Nigeria. We'll be right back. Stay here on the Morning Crossfire 99.3. Good morning to you, Lagos. We're not done yet, so the news is coming up at the top of the hour.
You can spell miscellaneous.
Of course I can.